started. So hello, everybody. Welcome to our June pre-arrival call. We're so excited to have everybody on here. For those that I haven't met yet or seen in the last call, I'm Lori Friedman, and I'm the director of the Office of International Students and Scholars. And we'll be working with you quite a bit, along with the rest of our team when you arrive. So really excited to see you all. We are going to do some introductions, and we have some guests on here as well. And we're going to go through our PowerPoints. For everybody to know, we are recording this, just so you know, so we understand if you want to turn your camera off or whatever it may be. Also, we know cameras interfere with internet connections, so we understand whichever you need to do. But we will be recording this for those that have missed this and sharing this after. So we're going to get started, and here we go. So just want to welcome you and give you kind of an overview. We have a pretty full agenda as far as what we're going to cover today, and then we'll also be able to answer questions. So feel free to put something in the chat if you have a question. If it's super specific to your own individual situation, we might want to follow up separately and be able to help you more specifically. That's fine too. But we're going to go over academic counseling and class registration because now is the time for course registration and submitting your course preference form. So we have guests on here from academic counseling who will be your academic advisors when you first arrive to be able to share information on that. Placement tests as well. Visas we'll talk about, and meeting your international student advisors, which is us. And then we'll talk about the different portals you're going to encounter, as well as Canvas and housing and arrival a little bit. Okay, so first I want to introduce those that are on the call for academic counseling, Stephanie, Kathy, and Mark. And want to introduce you all to share some information about what's happening with course registration, course preference form, maybe answer some questions and that sort of thing.
Okay, thank you for the introduction, and so nice to meet you all, or sort of see you all right now. And very excited to have you all on campus. My name's Kathy Hawks. I'm one of the 3 academic counselors here that specialize in international students. And I'm going to flip to Mark Strick and let Mark say hello.
Hello, my name's Mark, and I look forward to working with you.
And the last is Stephanie Fernando. She's not here today. It's her birthday, so she's at a birthday celebration at the moment. So. But the 3 of us are your people in academic counseling. We are happy to help with any questions you have. We are also very involved in the registration process that's happening right now. So I have 3 things just to touch on here that I think will probably cover a lot of your questions. And I should say the email for academic counseling, just academiccounseling@stthomas.edu is if you have questions, reach out to us that way afterwards that are specific. So number 1, the course preference form. You all received an email in early May 5th to be exact, that asked you to complete a course preference form, which asks you lots of questions like your intended major, your incoming credit, things like IB scores or SAT scores and classes that you may have taken that are going to award you credit, and the courses that you would like to take. And so all of that information comes to us, and we use that to build schedules. And we are going to pre-register you based on all of that information, and we're very good at our job, so we know all the classes you should be taking. And we will arrange or put you in classes, register you for classes, because when you arrive to campus a little later than a lot of our incoming freshmen, we don't want you to not have any seats left. So we're doing this in advance to make sure you guys get great schedules. Number 2, and sort of part of that, is the math placement score. And I should say the placement scores. So many of you are coming into majors where it's important to have a math placement score and or a chemistry placement score. And that is required to get you into certain classes that are required for your major. So you should, those that are choosing STEM majors those that it looks like you need the score just received a reminder email yesterday. So you might check for that as well. That will prompt you to take the online math placement score or exam and the online chemistry exam. Those scores are super important to us. And some of you even have texts from me. If you got a text from me, it means I really need it. So watch for that. Another side note I'll say is we're running into many students who have taken the SAT, but maybe haven't told us what their scores are. We can derive a math placement score from your SAT. So if you want to email us a screenshot of your SAT score that includes your name, that will prevent you from having to take the math placement. So that would be great if you have it. Number 3, after we build your schedules, you're going to receive an email from us sometime in July, as soon as we're done with all of that. And that will provide some instructions to how to log into the system and look at your schedule in advance. So you'll be able to log in and see all the classes and times and everything about your course schedule. And sometimes questions come up. You may have changed your major, or a new score has become available, or something, and we can always make changes to that schedule if needed. So nothing is permanent, nothing is set in stone. We're able to change if needed. So those are the 3 big things I want to talk about today. But other than that, I really just wanted to say hello and welcome you all to campus and give you our faces so that you know who the people are that will be helping you with academic needs. Thank you very much.
Thank you. And is it too late to submit course preference form if they haven't yet?
Nope. I want to say, I mean, the vast majority of you have, so very good job, but there are some that haven't, and no, it's not too late. You can go in and just do it right now. You have the same access. The access never closes, but we're registering right now. So that's the importance of getting it in, because we use that information.
And do you have any information on how students in an IB curriculum or IB diploma will impact course registration, what they should do, and if that impacts math placement, chemistry?
Yeah, we won't have the IB scores or your information from IB until I want to say July 6th. So really it's just telling us that it's coming. And there's a question on the course preference form. So you'll list out the subjects that you have IB credit coming for. And we basically schedule around that. So if we can see that you're expecting econ credit, for example, we'll not choose a class that looks like it's going to conflict with that. And then knowing that when that information comes in, then we're going to do a sweep to look if there are any issues. Sometimes, like, we'll likely register you for math just because it's so important, regardless. And then if you bring in IB credit, then we'll go and make a late change to your schedule. So
do those IB, if they're taking IB's higher level math or certain things like that, do they still need to do math placement?
that's a good question.
We'll follow up.
I would say, I mean, on my end, I would say yes. If you're at all unsure of if you feel it questionable that you're going to receive credit for math, take the math placement. If you know you have a super high score and all is well and you're expecting credit, then you could forego it. Does that help?
Yeah.
You can always reach individually. You could always reach out to us by email and we can have a conversation about that.
Great.
As well, if that helps.
And as you can see here, some math placement information for everybody. Typically it's for students majoring in financial management, econ, and any STEM fields. So general business and other arts typically don't have to, correct?
Correct.
Okay.
Engineering, that's really the biggest
Engineering
one.
does.
Computer science.
Yeah, biology.
Those are where it really matters. So
great. And there is a small fee for the math placement test that you can maybe buy a prepaid card in order to use, because it typically takes a credit card. So obviously you won't have a US credit card. And if you don't have another one, you could buy a prepaid card. There are also practice tests you can take for the math placement test. So you should do those and study a little bit just to make sure that you're ready for the actual math placement test.
You can retake that math placement multiple times. So if you don't score initially what you need to or want to, you can either work with a self-study with the material online, or if you're in a major where it's a little less of a, time crunch, you can work on campus with our tutoring program and earn that higher placement. So there are options.
Excellent. Any questions for our academic counselors before they leave the call? Feel free to unmute or type it in the chat.
I have a question, sorry.
Yeah.
I was just, so when I was filling in the course preference form, I was just like a little confused. Could you just like analyze for us, like what would a freshman be doing in terms of courses? Because I saw that there were like course preferences for every single kind of like group that you offer, like, so I wonder, like, is it for freshmen you have to take one for each category, or like is it different? Or yeah, thank you.
You will not take all of them at the same time, but telling us your preferences gives us some direction and what your interests are. So we will be putting together a schedule of 17 credits. It's really 4 classes, 16 credits plus a first year experience, which is like a freshman seminar that everybody takes of just 1 credit. But there are limited seats. And so when we're choosing which 4 classes to put together, we reference your interests, and we can see, like, if somebody chose a music class for all of their fine arts preferences, when there are many options, we're gonna opt for a music class, right? So things like that give us a little bit of direction, but you won't have them all at the same time. And, so it's more of guidance for us to help us pick courses that are closest to what you want to take. Some majors, and we know what major you're coming in, that's the largest driver of what classes you end up in. So, if you're a business student, for example, we know which math class you need. Econ is a requirement that also satisfies a social science core area. And so we're generally going to choose economics, maybe accounting, maybe business. And, so there are certain classes that are the first courses into a major. And so we're using that information as we choose for you.
And Kathy, can you talk about the language requirement, foreign language requirement, and being an international student and how that process works?
Yes. Okay. So if you happen to be coming from a country where English is your first language, then you will be required to take a world language here at St. Thomas, and it'll likely be 2 semesters of that language. If you are coming from anywhere where English is not your first language, most likely you will not take any language classes here at St. Thomas. There are multiple ways that could play out. If you have submitted TOEFL scores, IELTS scores, Duolingo, any documentation for your language level, we use that to satisfy the language requirement, and it's just done. You're just done with that. You don't do it. And if you didn't, then there's a language waiver process that a student can go through once they're on campus, which is basically having a letter submitted on your behalf that talks about your cultural and linguistic background, and you write a short essay. So it's a couple more hoops to jump through if we don't have the documentation to base that on.
And that's any documentation for English proficiency. So it's those scores, but it could also be IB, SAT, ACT, things like that.
Yeah.
Great.
Good question.
Any other questions? Yes.
I have a question. Is it possible for international students to still take a language class and
Sure.
okay. Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. If you're just interested in taking something, or maybe a brand new language to you, or yeah, yes, that's certainly an option.
Yep, not a requirement, but definitely options.
Yeah.
Any other questions?
Please, I would like to ask, we the international students, some of us now, I've heard that they said the US government has stopped giving international school visa for now. So I think probably it's going to delay our visa from coming to school. So if it happens like that, it's not going to affect our academic, because I believe by the time I'm able to get the visa, now we don't know, we haven't had anything yet about the, I don't even have dates yet. They have closed everything for now. So, and we are supposed to report on their guests. It's not going to affect us, like people like me.
We are waiting to hear more information from Department of State on when they are going to open up visa appointments again. So we are taking it one day at a time right now. They said the pause would not be long, but it has been 2 weeks as of yesterday. We're counting. So we are willing to work with students that are affected by this, of course, and we'll figure things out. But right now, I'm hopeful that the pause will end and that visa appointments will open up in time for people to still come this fall.
Yeah.
Razan?
Yeah, thank you.
I have a question about the exams, like the placement exams. So, can I do it like more than once?
Math placement, yes. Chemistry placement, no, only once.
Okay, it only affects the class that I'm gonna attend. It doesn't affect anything else, right?
Right. It's the level of the class that you'll be
Oh,
put
okay.
into, which could affect, if you have to take extra math classes then for your major,
Yes.
like it could set you back if you could have done better, for example, for math.
Yeah, I got you. Thank you.
Yeah, Sophia.
Sorry, I have one more question about the languages. So on the application portal, it said like to take a language placement test. And I did that for like Spanish because I took it in IB. What do I do with that score? Like what am I supposed to do with it? And what does it like do to my application? Like, does it mean that I don't have to take a class, or can I take an advanced class or something? Or
So the score feeds into the system and we're able to see that.
Right.
Then the question would be, do you need to take or want to take Spanish? So we would be looking at the information, like the country you're coming from and what I talked about earlier. If English is not your first language, you don't need to take language, but you could. So then let's say you have a high Spanish placement and you're wanting to do a Spanish minor or major, perhaps, then that tells us what level of course that you start with. If you're going into a totally different area and have no intention to do Spanish, then it's just a score in our system that doesn't do anything necessarily.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
I have a question. So I took the IBP in November of last year, and I already received my transcript. In that case, should I submit? Well, can I submit it, or what would be the process in that case? Because I saw you can pay for like the actual transcript, but it's like $17 for it to be sent to you at St. Thomas.
I think you said the IB transcript. Is that what I heard correctly?
Yes.
I think Lori's team can.
Yeah, that should come to us, right, Amanda?
Yeah, so you do need to send your official IB results to us. You can do that online on the IB website, and it has to come officially for them to do an evaluation for credit transfer, because we will give credit. There's a whole policy we can send you guys if you're not sure where it is on the website about this class equals this class at St. Thomas, according to what score you got on the official IB diploma. If you did not do that test, or your score did not qualify for transfer credit, we still need it, but then you'd know ahead of time whether or not it's going to account for a class at St. Thomas or not. Does that answer your question, Ignacio?
Yes, thank you.
You're welcome.
Kathy, if they haven't done the placement exams, what is the deadline so that you can register them properly for courses?
There's no exact deadline. We are actively registering. So at this point, it's as soon as possible So if, you know, we're working through a list of all of the students that we have and we're registering every day. So if you can get it done today, great. If you can get it done in the next couple of days, great. We'll be done registering all of you within a week. As more scores come in, we can go back and make a change, but I would encourage you to get it done within the next 3, 4, 5 days.
So by Friday or Sunday, ideally would be the best time to finish your placement exams. Otherwise, changes will have to be made. You may not get the first choice. Sections might be filling up. So better to do everything now.
Yes.
Great. Excellent. Thank you so much.
Please,
Kelly.
I
Yeah,
have
oh,
questions.
sorry. Yes.
Please, I'm offering history. I hope I'm not part of maths placement course. There's try.
You want to
Major
major in
history.
history, you said? Then
Please
a
come
history
again.
major does not take a math, it does not need a math placement.
Okay, thank you.
Yes.
Good question.
Just for your reference, actually, it's a really good question, Francisca. I'm glad you clarified that. On your application portal at the top, it has kind of like a checklist for all of you guys to be working through right now. It is based on your major. So if you don't see math placement on there, you should not be required to take it. Be mindful, if you're a STEM major and you don't see it, then tell me, because that's an error. But I spot checked several of your guys' portals. It should be accurate, where if you don't see it, it's because it's not required for the major that you applied with. Now, if you want to change or you have changed your major, please chat with me or Lou or John so we can make sure it's correct for you, but it should be accurate. So that helps you guys know if you need to do it or not too.
Excellent. Well, we have a lot to cover still, so I just want to thank Kathy and Mark for joining us, and you will meet them when you arrive. Thank you both.
Welcome, everyone. Bye-bye.
Take care.
Great. So now I just want to move forward. I mentioned already about the pause and visa appointments, so I understand if you're in the spot of you don't have one yet, so that's fine. We're still going to work with you and hope that something comes up soon. If you do have your F1 visa or you do have an appointment scheduled, please update your information in the portal, in your application portal, so that we know and we can follow up with you and we can track this. We are tracking things very, very closely and want to do our best to support you. So please make sure you do that.
I have a note. The slide says OISS portal. I know there's a lot of portals. That's not correct. I apologize. It's your application portal where you logged in to check your enrollment checklist. It is that personal email that you first made when you applied to St. Thomas or moved your Common App over, and that password that you first made. It's not the OISS portal where you have your St. Thomas email and you're doing your I-20 request. In your application portal, Carolina, if you hit this button to move to the next slide. Nope,
No.
we took it out.
No.
There is a very obvious enrollment checklist that says international documents. A lot of you've done it, so thank you. You need to fill that out and tell us, here's my appointment that's scheduled. And then if it's in the future, you don't fill out the next question of whether or not you got the visa. But after your appointment date, please come back and fill it out and say, yes, I got it, or no, I didn't. So that way, because we're checking and tracking all of you guys to make sure that we know where you're at in the process and we can help you. But obviously we also know there's the pause. So when the pause lifts, please get your appointment as quick as possible and fill it out so we can be helpful to you.
And at this point, because we're not sure if there's going to be any announcement on when visa appointments will open up, I would encourage you, if you don't have an appointment, just check often. Not hourly, but check maybe in the morning and maybe before you go to bed on a daily basis and just see if things open up. It doesn't hurt. Okay, so now I just want to briefly introduce my other colleague as well, since you've heard me talk for a half hour on and off. These are the International Student Advisors. So this is your team of who will be helping you, supporting you, advising you throughout your entire stay, while our admissions team that we've been working with so closely is going on to recruit more students for next year and traveling the world and trying to bring in more students. So Miho, do you want to introduce yourself? Sure.
Hi, everybody. My name is Miho Patani. I'm Associate Director in the office and I do immigration advising. It sounds very serious, but then I would love to get to know you all. And I'm looking forward to seeing you all in fall, August, September, right? Well, all should be coming in August, but I look forward to seeing you all and working with you all. Welcome to St. Thomas.
Yes, Miho will be one of your primary contacts for questions when you arrive, along with me. Paul and Tina are out today, but you will meet them at a future call.
Yeah, hoping to see you, Sama.
Yes, I hope you can make it. Great. And our international admissions team, maybe just briefly say hi, who you are on the call for those that haven't met you yet in person.
Hi,
Amanda.
I know all of you. Hi, I'm Amanda. I oversee undergraduate international admissions. John?
Hi, I'm John, international admissions counselor, and I work a lot with international student ambassadors too.
Hi guys, I'm Lou. I'm also an admissions counselor. I'm really excited to see everyone in a few months.
Anju.
Hi everyone, I'm Anju Chopra. I'm based out of India and I'm here to help you out. If you have any queries from India, from South Asia, you are more than welcome to get in touch with me. Holly.
Yep, Ian.
I'm here. I'm international recruitment specialist look after for Vietnam and Southeast Asia. Nice to meet you all.
Excellent. So we are the team. We are physically all in one office. So you will see all of us when you arrive, and we're excited to have you. So these are the portals that we talked about before. It can get kind of confusing because we say log into your portal and do this, this, this. There are several different portals. So the first one Amanda mentioned is your application portal. That's where you applied through. That's where you are looking for math placements. That's where you are telling us your visa information. And that sort of thing. OISS portal is where you are requesting your I-20. And that is where you will continue to use as a current student. You will no longer use the application portal in that sense when you arrive, but you will use the OISS portal for any immigration need that you have, like a travel request or things like that. We also have one St. Thomas, which is kind of the internal communication sites. It's protected, password protected. And so you as a St. Thomas student will be able to log in and find everything you need there as a current student, and access to Canvas, which is the kind of the database that St. Thomas uses as far as courses and things like that. And then there's also the health portal, which we'll talk more about in future. And that's where you can submit and upload immunizations, which are basically shots or vaccines, and request health appointments and counseling and things like that we have on campus. So a lot of different portals. We'll go through them more in depth in the next two calls, of course. We've got July and August still to come. So this is what the application portal looks like that Amanda was talking about earlier. And Amanda, do you just want to highlight anything?
Yeah, fill out the things that appear on yours. International documents is the visa questions. It also reminds you of how to get your I-20. If you are somebody who's having a technology issue, there's a few of you I've been talking to, let us know immediately, because you should not be waiting to get your I-20 because you can't log into your email or something like that. We can help you get around that technology issue or solve it. So if you do not have your I-20 yet, you better be getting it today, because you should have it ready to go for the second that visa appointments pop back up, that you are ready to go. So that would be helpful if you told us that you're stuck. But everything else is orientation sessions, modules. There is one note about an orientation session. It says sign up for orientation and registration session. When you click on this, it'll say you're signed up for July 28th. Guess what? You're done. You don't have to sign up. We signed up for you. July 28th is an online session. Other students will be here in person throughout the summer, students who are more local, but yours is online. And if you choose not to go to the July 28th online session, or you can't, life happens, you will have to do a makeup session the day before classes start. Totally fine. It is a very busy time. And so we tried to help you out by having you do the online one early, because the information's helpful early, but also then it's one less thing for you to do in person while you're already getting ready to go to school. But otherwise, everything else is on here. The thing that you don't see on here, but it is in your application portal, is your housing preference form. The deadline was June 2nd to fill it out. However, it is still available for you to fill out. You should still fill it out if you have not, because they are actively working on assigning rooms. Those room assignments will come out towards the end of July. But if you don't raise your hand and say what you want, they don't know, and they won't be able to put you in a location and housing that fits what you're requesting. And they really do try to honor your request. So please fill it out if you haven't already done so as well.
And just please, for when you arrive, super helpful to upload your photo for your St. Thomas ID. It is your access often for your room, for everything. So if you do that ahead of time, if you upload your photo, your ID will be ready when you walk in. So super, super, super easy, no lines, anything like that, and you'll be ready to go when you arrive. I also want to introduce, before we move on, to other people that are on the call that haven't introduced themselves. Sorry to put you on the spot, but if you're okay with that, Carolina.
Sorry, I had to
Sorry.
stop sharing. Hi, everyone. I'm Carolina Martinez. I'm an international student from Peru, but I am also a grad assistant at OISS. So excited to meet you guys.
And B, are you on and available to say something?
Yeah. Hi guys, I'm V. I'm an international student from Ethiopia. I'm an international student ambassador lead, and I'll be meeting you all when you come this fall. So I'm really happy.
Yay. Okay. Didn't want to forget two very important people. Awesome. Okay, so now we're going into using the OISS portal. So like I said, that's to get your I-20 request that you have used, and that will be your system when you arrive for anything after that. As far as immigration related, like working off campus someday, things like that, that all goes through that portal. All right. Canvas. This is where there's an orientation course that you will go through. There's a technology course that you will go through. There's an international student orientation course that you will go through that is all pre-arrival. The international one should be loaded and ready, and you'll be invited within the next few weeks. And it's kind of a pre-orientation before the one when you arrive. This is also where you will be accessing your grades, online course material, things like that. So Canvas will be your academic, basically, portal when you arrive. Okay. Everything about arrival, move-in, and orientation, just to reiterate some things. Arrival day is August 23rd. We want you to arrive on that date, and that date only, ideally. It's very important. Of course, if there's a visa issue, we will work with you separately, but that is the day where we will be picking students up at the airport. That is the first day where you can move into your residence hall. So we want you to be able to move in when you can and get settled, and then not miss any orientation activities after that. Starting that Saturday, August 23rd, we have activities through Wednesday, and then Wednesday through the following Tuesday is welcome days activities. So you will be busy for your first 10 days, even though classes haven't begun. But that's where a lot of people meet friends, get connected, and that's also where you get a lot of your information and get set up. So we have an orientation schedule online that is completely up to date. We are bringing banks and cell phones and most of the things that you'll need immediately onto campus, so you don't have to go out and find that information. We take you to Target to get some immediate basic needs. We will set you up for success, but we want you to come on that Saturday. So feel free to look at the orientation schedule. We also mentioned that housing assignments will be sent out late July. So just sit tight and wait for that. Sophia.
About the, you know how you said that you're gonna bring people in to like help us like get set up and everything.
Yeah.
Regarding the insurance, how's
Yeah.
that gonna work? Because like I'm wondering like if I have to do like a travel insurance for the first few weeks or something, or or if it starts immediately, because I need
Yep.
to know about expenses and stuff.
Excellent. So health insurance is a part of, so all international students are required to enroll in St. Thomas's health insurance plan unless you have basically identical coverage or sponsored by a home government. Most places don't have identical coverage. That's why we require St. Thomas's health insurance plan. That will be on your bill. That will also require you to enroll in it upon arrival, but you will already be covered. So when you arrive, you will be covered on the St. Thomas health insurance plan, even if you haven't officially enrolled yet. And you may not have your health insurance card yet, but if you need any healthcare providers or you need to be seen off campus beyond our health services can work with the insurance company and can work with anyone you need to go see to make sure that your insurance is listed.
So then I don't have to like do anything. Like I just come
No.
in and then
Yep,
I'm
you
under
just come in, you enroll in health insurance when you arrive, which is kind of a online process, but you will already be covered.
You can actually
okay.
enroll in it before you arrive too. It's a lot of fun paperwork to read if your family wants to read it. It's all
that?
posted online, but you can enroll. They'll send you a big old email when it's ready for you, because they'll put you in the system and then you can go and read through it, get your card requested, all that.
Probably after
Okay.
August 1st is my guess, is usually when things go live. So we'll talk
Okay.
about that in the next call.
They'll be on
Thank
the
you.
call. Yeah, somebody will come to one of our calls.
Yep, we're going to try to have the health folks on our next call. Great. Excellent. Get connected, social media, in case you aren't already. If you have access to these Instagram accounts, definitely join that. We will also be, that's the WhatsApp number for international admissions. We will also be creating a WhatsApp group for everybody that is arriving. And so you will get an invite to that, and that will be coordinating like reminders and arrivals and things like that. And that will stay live through about the first 6 weeks of the semester to make sure that you're adjusted well. And then that group will close out. Great. Excellent. So July 1st is the final confirmation deadline, but hopefully you guys are already good to go on that. And then we have our next pre-arrival calls, which are the same time. So for your time zone, we haven't changed anything. And that's July 9th and that's August 6th. We also have, so for the arrival day, August 23rd, we have an arrival information form that's also on our website. We do want you to fill that out once you have your flight booked. If you need airport pickup, that entire information and your itinerary and everything will be required on that form in order for us to be able to pick you up on time. If you are arriving and don't need airport pickup for some reason, please just still tell us when you're arriving. You can do that all on the arrival information form on that orientation website.
Which is in the chat, / all of your pre-arrival emails multiple times.
So our next call, we will be talking more about textbooks and how that process works. Move in, kind of go through a little bit of the orientation schedule and welcome days activities, paying your bills, adding proxies, which family to see your billing account and things like that. We hope to have health services and Center for Wellbeing to talk about insurance, immunization shots and vaccines, what you need to get before you arrive and what you can get upon arrival. And then student ID card and any final questions. So that's kind of our next call. And then our August call will go more in depth about arrival and orientation and things like that. So we have lots of time for questions. We went through faster than I thought. So let's open it up.
You can put them in the chat or on mute. You have options.
Yes. Or we can fill the time.
Okay, I have a question, sorry, about packing.
Okay, you're great.
I'm gonna be back in my room right now. So, because we have to prepare for like 4 seasons, right?
Yeah.
Some of us come from countries where there's not 4 seasons.
Yeah.
What would you suggest, like we bring, you know, like anything that like other international students have like said, oh my gosh, I wish I brought that, so that
Where's
we
B?
know.
Yep. Yep. B, do you want to speak and share your thoughts?
Yeah. So for me, that's a good question. I feel like everything, there's like majority of the things you need for the winter or like weather seasons is available here. If you could bring a few jackets that you might think you would need when the weather gets a bit colder. If you have any like dry snacks that are you feel comfortable bringing, like just a little bit, so that you know you can't feel too far away from home and you could just like snack on those and remember what it feels like to be home, that would be nice. um Other than that, small trinkets to decorate your room if you have space, but not much because everything is available here. And I really didn't need a lot of things from home. And when you bring a lot of stuff, you have to unpack it here and then fix up everything. So it kind of gets a little harder as like a new incoming student to just do everything on your own. So at a minimum, but just a few trinkets that could remind you of home so that you don't feel too nostalgic.
Yeah, and I would say, you know, it is warm when you arrive, so you have time before it gets super cold. And it's gradual. You might get a couple days where it's like, oh, that was cold, and then it'll bounce back up and then, you know, give you a little test. But it'll be warm when you arrive. We'll take you shopping, things like that. So you will have time to get some of those things here if needed. But yes, if you do have jacket, hats, gloves, mittens, boots, anything like that, bring them. It's one less thing to buy. And use the tunnel systems when you get here and it gets colder or rain. And we will share the link too. There are certain things that you should not bring or pack, food related. So we'll try to share that link, just so nothing happens at customs or, you know, certain things are allowed to come in and other things aren't. So you just want to be prepared.
Can I add one thing?
Yeah, please.
I think there's a lots of opportunities that you can showcase your culture. So you're probably, if you have any traditional clothes that you want to share, you know, you want to wear, that might be a good idea. You know, because you probably depends, right? Like depends on the current immigration situation and all that, how often you can go home. We don't know. But if you can pack, if you have a space in your suitcase, maybe traditional clothes or something from your home country, that'll come in handy.
Good thought. We have World of Celebrations, we have International Dinner, we have cultural nights, things like that. So lots of opportunities if you want to showcase. Great suggestion. Other
I have a
suggestions?
question.
Yeah.
Sure. I was very happy when the lady, I think she's Francisca, did mention about the fact that some of the international students are having a challenge, having the visa appointment.
Yeah.
So my concern has to do with supposing these delays, what's going to happen to those who are unable to get application and for that matter, visa? When school resumes, what's going to happen? Is it going to be like they're going to defer their enrollment, or there will be some kind of online classes for them until they get an appointment? I also want to direct a question to Francisca. I'm speaking from Ghana. Yeah, I'm speaking for my son, Blessed Kwashi. He's right there. So supposing, I want to know if Francisca is also coming from Ghana or somewhere in Africa. That's a question to Francisca. Yeah.
Please,
Maybe
I'm coming
Nigeria.
from, no, I'm coming from Ghana. I'm
You
a
are from
Ghanaian.
Ghana. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, you are a Ghanaian. So
Yeah.
Bless is a Ghanaian too. Thank you very much. Yeah. I'm also a Ghanaian. All right.
Nice
Good.
meeting you.
Yeah,
Okay, so the question goes on. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you for your questions. I mean, the way St. Thomas is we try to do whatever we can to work with you and figure things out. I'm not sure that we want to start online, just because it's a large financial commitment on the student. or the family before a visa is secured. And we want to figure out maybe if deferral is the best option, but I'm really hoping we don't get to that point. We still have 2.5 months or
Right.
two full months. The benefit is we start later than a lot of other universities, which is nice. It gives us a little extra time. But I'm really hopeful that either there will be additional pressure put on by Congress, reps, other people to the administration to open up appointments so that it doesn't impact fall enrollment for all of our colleges and universities. So I'm still
Okay.
hopeful.
Please, I want to ask a question. So, is it things like this? I know the moment they will open the application for us or the visa, the moment they will open, I know the denial is going to be high. The denial of the visa is going to be high. So when it happens like that, what are we going to do? Because I know to get US visa is very hard.
Yep.
It's very, very hard. And for things like this to happen at this time, I know deny rate is going to be high. So every day we keep on praying. So things like the when it happen, like maybe I'm not saying by God willing, they are going to approve our visa though, but you need to think there's advantage and there's disadvantage.
Yes.
What if our visa is being disqualified or they don't approve our visa? What are we going to do?
Yeah. So first things before, if visa appointments open up and you schedule an appointment, let us know. If you want to talk through anything before your appointment, we are happy to do that and talk about what the interview process may look like, maybe how you would answer some questions, what you plan to say, things like that. We are willing to do that one-on-one with you. If you encounter a denial and there's still time, we would encourage you to reapply before the fall semester starts. If that still isn't an option, then we would work with you to figure out deferral process.
Thank you.
Yeah. Victor.
Hi there. Good morning, everybody.
Hi.
My question is about I was looking forward to buy the items to the dorms, like sheet sheets, pillows. Is there any Walmart or Target near to St. Thomas, or normally we buy online and we ask you shop by the dorms? What's your recommendation, please?
Yeah, so actually, like I mentioned, arriving on Saturday is super important because Sunday we're taking everyone to Target on a bus where you can buy everything that you need. That can all be obtained. You can have sheets will be in your dorm room for the first night at least and beyond if needed for like a week or so, like rental sheets from Residence Life. But then you can have your own sheets from the next day on.
If you want to, sorry, Victor, I just want to address that you asked about mailing and I've gotten a couple questions about it. If you would like to purchase something online ahead of time through Amazon or whatever, please don't do it now because it doesn't have anywhere to go because you're not here yet. So if you choose to buy something online, that's okay. But I would say buy it like the day before you leave. And then by the time it arrives a couple days later, you'll be here ready to receive it. If you choose to mail something to yourself, like August 22nd, it's just your full name and then the university address. That's it. It's very simple. And then you get an email when your package is ready for pickup and you just go pick it up in the mailroom with your ID card. So it's fairly straightforward, but if you mail it now, it's going to get super confusing because they don't know you exist yet in the mailroom because you're not fully on campus yet. And they don't have a room assignment for it. They don't know yet. So please don't do that now because then your stuff's lost and we don't know. So just wait. But otherwise you can buy everything here. And like bedding is like 20, 30 bucks for the dorm beds. Don't bring your own sheets from home because the dorms are a very specific size and it's very easy to find it here for pretty cheap. So just come with other stuff that you might want.
Thank you so much for both. I really appreciate it. I'm already putting a lot of cans of condensed milk on my bed to make brigadeiro to everyone. So
There's milk here, Victor.
so I don't have a lot of space to put my own sheets here in from Brazil, but well, thank you so much. And do you also have any tips of things that we can decor the dorm? that like
You can
that
buy stuff at Target too. There's lots of cute, the dorm, like the college vibe in the US is strong. So there's always stuff at this time of year when you guys are coming, super cheap at all the stores. It's all like, there's a whole section of the store for going to college. So
Yeah.
like you can get whatever you want, whether it's in person or you choose to order something online. And it's
Super
usually
easy.
heavily discounted, cheap, cute.
Yeah. And wait till you arrive to see what your roommate has, what they're bringing, and, you know, coordinate that eventually, buy what you need, and then you can always add stuff on Amazon or something like that after you arrive. Yeah, Sophia?
I just wanted to add that onto what Victor asked. So it was like, what does the room come with? You know, like, is it because, like, for example, here, like UWC Thailand, it comes with like duvet, the pillow, the pillowcase, the bed, like everything. So, like, what do we need to prepare, like, or like budget for, like, you know, to purchase?
Yeah, I would say, no, so the rooms are bare. Okay, so the rooms have nothing. I mean, they have furniture, but nothing else. So you would be buying typically sheets, comforter, which can come in a set, or are fairly affordable. Towels, you would want to buy a pillow, like things like that. And that could all be bought at Target, probably for $100 maybe. Depends on
Okay.
how nice you want to get stuff.
But like for the first night, like what did you, because you said there's gonna be rental like stuff.
Yeah,
Like
the first night you'll have enough to sleep with on
okay.
your bed.
Okay.
Yeah, the first night you'll be fine, and then you can buy your own, which are probably more
So we
comfortable.
don't have to bring anything from home, like unless it's like a specific thing or like something.
Right.
Okay. Thank you.
Yes. Lottie?
I just wanted to say about packing and stuff because I'm a transfer, so I've been living here for a while. I would always try to make sure to bring as least as possible because you only have one suitcase probably, and you're gonna buy so much stuff here anyways. So I'd probably not bring like 5 jackets, maybe bring one jacket that would bring you through fall, and then you can always buy or like thrift a bigger one here and bring like one pair of shoes. But make sure to bring like if there's any hygiene products or something that you know is only in your country or only the specific thing you can find in your country. Because also here stuff tends to be more expensive. So if there's something that you're like, I can't live without that, then bring that. But don't bring like 5 sweatshirts because you're gonna buy 3 in your first week probably.
Good call. And actually, as a St. Thomas student, you get sweatshirts and t-shirts and things just are given away at random times. So you'll get some of that stuff too. Yeah. And we have a borrowing closet when you arrive. So donations that we've received all summer from community members, former international students, things like that. On that Monday, you'll be able to just grab whatever you see for free if you want it for your dorm room, or there might be some jackets, winter coats, things like that. Leilani?
Hi. Ask just about the airport form. I didn't hear too well. Sorry, my connection. Like, where and how do I sign up for that for the pickup from the airport?
You bet. We'll post it in the chat. Amanda, you can post the link
Yep.
in the chat. Perfect. So yeah, it's on the orientation website. It's embedded in there, but there we go. So yeah, just fill that out and let us know.
There's arrival information form. It's a hyperlink in that website.
Jalen?
Hello. I wanted to ask when the roommate form comes out, like the specific one, because I know there was a first one where it was like more general. And then I think there's another one coming out where we get to like kind of choose specifically who we want to be roommates with. And then I wanted to ask what time orientation starts, like each day, and
Yeah.
what time it ends. Yeah.
I'll answer that part first, and then Amanda can go on to the roommates. So orientation Saturday, August 23rd is just arrival day. So super flexible. We want you to just arrive, check into your residence hall room, shower, sleep, eat, whatever you need to do, basic needs. And then Sunday, the morning is somewhat flexible is when you're checking in with our office. Our office will be open. I would say things start anywhere from 9-ish, around that. But there's kind of like blocks of time. So you can stop in to do this, and then in the afternoon you do this, and then the evening you do this. So it's not like you must do this every hour. Monday is a little more scheduled, where there will be things. That's when banks are coming to campus, cell phones. There's a lot more happening, immigration. There's a lot more happening on that Monday. But Sunday, there will just kind of be blocks of time by which you need to do things. And then Target will happen later in the day. And then roommates.
Please, I would like to ask.
Yeah.
Is there any different thing for outside students that they stay outside campus?
What do you mean?
Outside campus, like me, I'm not staying in the campus.
Yeah.
Okay. So are we going to be part of whatever that is happening in the campus?
Absolutely. Yes. So you may not move in on that date, right? But you will still join everything else. And we want you fully a part of the whole orientation. Absolutely.
There's a couple students asking about that. Yes, please show up here every day. But ultimately, if you've requested an off-campus waiver and you've been approved for a waiver for one of the reasons to meet the waiver requirement, it is up to you to find your own housing. And that's why it's a waiver process, because we want to make sure that you have secure housing. So if you have a question about that, ask your admissions counselor. But come here every day, please. And then as far as roommates, to answer Jalen's follow-up question, I just sent in the chat again the housing preference steps. This is the site where the housing preference form will take you from your application portal. It walks you through how to fill it out, everything else. As of right now, it says you'll be able to submit a specific roommate request in June. I imagine they're going to open that up here soon. I know that they're kind of waiting on a couple more people to fill out their housing preference form. If you haven't done so already, do that first, please. And then they'll announce it. It'll probably go in your portal. If not, it'll be on this website. I will let you know when it's out and available if you have a specific roommate request and you want to fill out that additional form. But my advice always, and it says it here too, think first about what living learning community you want to be in. If you want to be in a common good learning community, or if you want to be a living learning community, all the logistics about what that means are on this site, and we can chat about it too. But you only get to have that experience your first year if you're a first year student. So think of that first, and then think of what roommate you want. And I would always choose the community you want to live in first, because you can always live with that roommate one of the other 3 years that you'll be here as well.
Just want to say the LLCs have just been matched as far as in the last week. So that's confirmed already. Great. I know we're at time. So I want to be respectful of everybody's time. Glad we had a time for everybody to answer questions. We will see you in July at the next pre-arrival call.